All right, we are live. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me, and I'm just going to talk to my assistant, and hopefully, I everybody can hear me. All right, so we're going to go and talk about today, just basically laying everything out and laying out my marketing strategy, the things that we do in our business to help um, our clients, our customers, in generating leads organically as well as on social media. All right, so awesome. I just confirmed with Janice that you can that I can be heard. All right, a little bit background about myself before I get started. Very short background version. Basically, in 2004, I started my journey as an entrepreneur, and I tried a bunch of stuff from 2004 to 2010. And then in around 2010 is when I committed to doing real estate, specifically with distressed market properties, finding them, investing in them, helping customers through short sales and foreclosures and things like that. And then it wasn't until I got frustrated with just trying to generate leads. And so I uh, figured out how to generate leads organically. And in uh, 2016, I started my marketing agency to help others. If I can do it, I can help others as well. All right. And then throughout the process, I started a SaaS business in 2023. And we are here now in 2024, laying everything out, sharing my what's working, what's not working, and today I'm going to be talking about the marketing plan for real estate agents and brokers. All right, because that's really the niche that I focus on. I help other small business owners as well, but that's what I've been doing since 2010. All right, so why did I make this decision to share my marketing strategy? It was when I recently met two. One was a past client, and another one is a potential client now, currently a new client. And the first one is his name is Kevin Majeski, and we did a Google Business Profile optimization. He wasn't ranking before, and now he's ranking in not in the Google top three pack, but he is on his way up there because he's now on page one. Um, and the way that I can show it is I can tell you, but let me share with you so that way, because I like to walk the talk and not. So if I type in, you know what, I'm gonna go incognito just to make sure. All right, so I'm gonna type in Google. Kevin Majeski is a real estate agent in in Anderson, Indiana. Okay, Anderson, Indiana. And as you can see here, let's go down here. And as you can see, he's not in the top three pack. But if you go and click on more businesses, he is with Carpenter Realtor. I think Carpenter Realtor, yes. And he is, where is he? I thought I saw him. That is odd. That is weird. I did see him before when I did the search, and now I don't see him here. So this is where it becomes a little bit funny where um, that's odd. So I'm gonna do a little bit of research, but that is odd because I did the search before and now it's not showing up. So anyway, um, but anyway, he is that's a little boo, so I don't know if I should take that out, but anyway, um, but let me just share my screen, hide it again, and this is live, so what you see is live. So, all right. So let me go and continue. So I met with him, and so basically we discussed, and I basically trying to figure out what his pain point was and then find the solution, right? And then the other client, Christine Nagy, she's with Kosher Real Estate, and she's a veteran agent. Has been in this business for I think close to 20 years, but she wasn't showing up online. And so um, if you Google, so I Googled top real estate agent in East Hanover, New Jersey, and she wasn't showing up at all. And so what I'm trying to say here is that everybody is at a different stage in their business. Kevin Majeski, not sure how, I don't remember how many years he's been in business. You got Christine, she had a lot of experience, not showing up. So there's no way the reason I'm telling you this, there's no way that could give you like, hey, here's the blueprint and you follow it because everybody is at a different stage. Everybody has different financial, uh, I guess, budget or financial budget in terms of what they can spend in their marketing. Uh, but what I can provide to you is a blueprint, all right? And so there is a blueprint that you can download, and I'm going to share with you the blueprint is this blueprint. Let me see here. Why can't? So now things are not working as when. All right, so this is not working. So let me share and make sure that I can share the screen. Um, Let me pull it off and just pull it into the screen. So here's the blueprint. And you can get this blueprint on, let me share with you I may actually have Janice come on in my lives so that way she can actually control this. I think there's a way that she can control what's being visible. So rather than me trying to pull different screens, I may have my assistant Janice come on and share those screens so that way I don't have to do it. Um, so the blueprint is, let me go and take a look at my text. You can download it here at freeleadsblueprint.com. All right. So I'm going to go over those blueprints specifically with when it comes to real estate agents and brokers. Okay. All right. So number one, when we look at this blueprint is um, digital foundation. Now, digital foundation um, is comprised of three components. Number one is lead magnet, email, um, and online presence and marketing channel. The most important, I won't say most important, they're all important, but the most one that you need to get done in order to generate online presence is this one right here, right? Setting up your website. You don't have to have a website, but I'll talk about that later. But you need to set up all your social media. I consider Google Business Profile social media, right? Even though it's a profile, it's a listing, I still consider that part of social media. So your Google Business Profile, your YouTube, and all of your social media, major ones, TikTok and Pinterest. I don't think a lot of, well, I take that back. Some real estate agents are using TikTok, not TikTok. You got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok if you decide to choose that, right? You got to go and fill those out, and you got to have a call to action on those lead magnets, right? And that leads me back to lead magnet here, right? A landing page where somebody could fill in their name and email. The reason I don't talk about this as not as I don't talk about it, but not as important is because it's more important at the very beginning to have an online presence. You don't Most real estate agents, and they're not going to have landing pages or lead magnet, which you should, right? And some agents will have some sort of a email campaign, email setup and sequence set up. Most won't, right? But let's go take a look at. I'm gonna go take a look at. Let's go look at Kevin Majeski. All right, so I'm just gonna go and take a look at his email campaign, and I'm gonna do Kristen. Make sure it's always popping up because I follow her. So we got Kevin Majeski right here, right? So if you go look at Kevin Majeski, and he has a link tree, right? and we haven't worked on it. So we have in here 4 call to action, right? So this, I would assume that it's gonna go to his website, right? Sell your house, right? But there's no call to action that is going to be a no-brainer for somebody landing on a website to give their name and email, because ultimately, my opinion, this is my opinion, and well, actually, this is it's true. Every business should have some sort of an email database. I don't care what kind, but you should have a database that you send out regularly, at least once a month, weekly if possible, right? So with um, with that in mind, right? I Let's go take a look at Christine Nagy, and this is where I think, as I was doing my research, I think I realized one of the problems that Christine Nagy is dealing with, because she's not showing up, is number one, she has two Instagram. So in the world of Google, when it comes to being found, when you have multiple social media excuse me, if you have multiple social media accounts, right? Google, let me just make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Google is going to be confused. Basically, doesn't know Google doesn't know whether you're this person or that person, right? They could go based on how Google. I mean, I'm trying to say it in a way that in a layman term, that if you are basically, Google is kind of doing linking, right, and trying to connect the dots, right? So if Kevin Majeski is has a certain Instagram account, Google's trying to say, okay, this is Kevin Majeski. This is his Instagram. This is his Facebook page. This is his Google Business profile. And if you have multiple ones, then what's Google's going to be is going to be confused, and he doesn't know what you're doing. And Google sometimes may think you're trying to hack the system, and so that may be the issue. So I'm not 100% sure. But all right, so let's continue with um, and I'm sure if I go to Christine Nagy's Instagram, her call to action is to her website, right? And so you want to go to you want to have in your Instagram or any of your social media a direct call to action. It could be making a phone call, right? But if you're a busy real estate agent, are you going to pick up your calls, right? So that's another issue as well. All right. So number one step when it comes to digital foundation is going and creating consistent. Okay, so when it comes to number one with the digital foundation, you have to have consistency. Most importantly is your name, address, and phone number. All right. Now, what we do internally, which I didn't explain in the blueprint, right? My blueprint before used to be a lot bigger. So um, let me go and share my blueprint. Hold on a second. So um, why can't I pull this thing? Darn it. All right. So let's go and pull this blueprint here. So the way that you look at sorry about that. I lost my train of thought. Sorry. This is why it's live. All right. So when it comes to digital foundation, right, and you look at the way Google looks at your NAP and also your authority. Authority can is going to be dictated by where you're located. Like for example, if you have your presence on Facebook or Instagram, and you have a lot of traffic there, then you're gonna build up your authority. And so that's basically what's important, and it's about consistency. All right. So what I was saying before is when we look at internally in our business, when we look at a person's marketing strategy, right? We have to assess their current and past marketing strategies, and then we also have to look at their, what they've done before and what they are currently doing. A lot of times, a lot of real estate agents are doing so many different things, and so I'm gonna talk at the very end what we suggested to Kevin Majeski based on his situation, right? But what I'm giving you is basically laying out the preliminary things what you can do with when you're building out your online presence, which is number one is going and creating all of your social media consistency. And the main thing is you want to build one channel for each. Now, this is a little bit, I think, difficult, not necessarily difficult, but it's a little bit challenging if you have a personal brand, right? Um, because, um, yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about that, in because most real estate agents are gonna have personal brand. The reason I'm bringing this up is because let's just say you're with Coach, like for example, I work with Kosha Real Estate Group, right? And I'm pushing out content so that I can push Kosha Real Estate Group, the business, up on ranking, right? Now you got Christine, who's a real estate agent that's underneath that brokerage, right? Now, um, how do I build her authority? I mean, there's the way that I'm gonna look at it is I'm gonna because I have access to Kosha, I'm gonna build her authority by creating a page on her uh, on her about page in Kosha, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I create links to her social media accounts so that Google knows, hey, Christine Nagy is this is her Instagram, this is her Facebook page, this is her Google business profile, right? So now we're all interlinking together so that way Google knows her authority, knows that she is an authority. And then the other thing is I know she has a website which I know needs to be updated because it is outdated. I'm going to build her authority on her website by by creating a separate authority page for her. So the more authority page that she has online, that's increasing her authority, right? The same thing that it comes to kosher. The more mention of kosher in all these various websites with high authority, for example, Zillow, Yelp, it builds kosher's authority. All right. Let me get a drink of water here. All right. Um, I should not have been sharing the screen. All right. So let's move on to the next. You know what? I should share my screen here. Let me get rid of that free leads blueprint and go and share this screen here. And then we're going to be talking about here the second thing is reputation management, and we consider that with Google Business Profile. Now, Opt with Google Business Profile, the most important thing is filling it out right here, filling it out fully. And number two is getting quality reviews. Now, filling out the profile, there's also the optimization part, which includes making sure that you have your service areas and you have it correctly categorized. With real estate agents, basically it's real estate agent, real estate agency, and real estate consultant. Those are the three categories. Um, and then the service areas is putting your where your business is located and the surrounding areas. I think you're allowed up to a certain number of service areas that you can put in there. Okay. And then number two is getting reviews, right? I write quality reviews because um, in the eyes of Google, reviews is considered content. So the words that people write on the reviews is considered content, and those keywords are important. Okay, so I tell my clients that when ask for reviews, ask them to be a little more detailed about their reviews, but not go overboard. Right? And then replies to those reviews, I should actually put in here an update to this blueprint, is responses, replies to those reviews, right? Um, Most real estate agents are diligent about this, but just some I have local businesses, I have small business owners that actually are not as diligent, and so there are ways to automate that process. Let me just give you an example here. So here is uh, we this is a orthodontist, and they get like at least 10 reviews per week, if not all plus or minus. And so um, in the last 6 months, actually, they actually received 26. Um, so the way that this platform works, this is my SaaS business. This is my SaaS. The replies. So the problem, the pain point for them was that there was nobody replying to reviews. And as I said, um, replies to reviews is engagement. So for Google Business Profile, engagement is um, replying, and when people click on directions to your Google Business Profile, when people are calling, that's engagement to to Google's eyes, and replies to reviews are considered engagement. And so if you look at this review, this is done by artificial intelligence. So basically, when somebody writes a review after 30 minutes, then um, this platform actually writes a review after 30 minutes, and this is done by artificial intelligence, and it's pretty good actually. So, all right. So let me go back to this blueprint. And number two here is next is adding photos and now photos. Before I used to we used to geotag those photos, but that's no longer that's not important. It's not necessary at all, right? So, I think it's been confirmed. We've confirmed it through research as well as just um, confirming through Google. So photos, we don't tag photos. Doesn't not necessarily, you don't want to put stock photos. It has to be real photos. Those definitely get more views. And there are instances where Google will remove photos if they think it's not appropriate. Okay. And then with regarding to updates, it's kind of like posting, like, you do an Instagram posting on Google Business Profile. You don't want to do too many. I would suggest 2 to 3, right? This is something that I learned when I went to the Traffic and Conversion Summit recently in Las Vegas. Um, so, if you put too much content out there, then Google thinks you're like literally spamming. So you just want to push out good updates 2 to 3 times a week, three at the most. All right. All right. The next thing, let me just take a look at my notes and make sure that I didn't leave anything out. All right. So next part, number three, is traffic to generate leads. Now, here is where I want to talk about a couple of things. Okay. When, maybe what I'll do here is I will pull my notes, because this I think I'm gonna actually update my blueprint, because after I spent some time thinking about this, and as you can see with my blueprint, uh, if you look at my blueprint, this is blueprint version 4. I'm definitely gonna come out with version 5 to update it. So when we look at traffic, there's only 3 ways to generate traffic. Okay, there is traffic, organic, content driven, and paid ads, right? I want to make sure that everybody understands organic traffic. Organic traffic through social media is different from organic traffic from search engine. Why organic traffic from search engine is my opinion more important is because people are actually searching for a problem they have, whereas social media is you're interrupting, technically interrupting somebody's that's trying to be entertained, or, catching up with their friends. So that's the difference. That's the difference. So with organic traffic, local SEO, in my opinion, is the most important. Okay. Uh, Now you can try to um, do global SEO, right? What I mean by global SEO, let me go and do incognito, and let me do Google, right? Kosha has been a client of ours since 2016. So I just want to put in here top real estate agent in East Hanover, New Jersey, right? So this is global search, right? So Kosha is right here, right? they used to be number one, but this is something that I probably need to look into a little further. But to compete with these big, companies, Zillow, right? And to be up there is pretty good in my opinion. But I need to. This is something that I probably need to look into with the recent updates to Google algorithm. This is something I have to work on. So this is global SEO, and then here is local SEO. So as you can see here, they're ranking number one. Okay, but at the beginning, you just want to focus on local SEO. Okay, and then with content driven, focus is on YouTube, right? I think moving forward, as we move on, back in 2024 and on, it's very important. Every business owner, okay, real estate agents, brokers, as well as investors, you need to focus on YouTube because YouTube is the number two search engine, and I'm going to emphasize to my clients and push them to do things on YouTube, right? We use YouTube for coach a little bit differently, but at the end of the day, if nobody wants to do videos, it's going to be hard, right? So I can't push Kosha to do videos, so we do it a little bit differently with in that case. And for them, we take their listings that they have on a weekly basis, and we push out long form videos for their listings, right? We do that strictly for SEO purposes, but for um, content driven purposes, you should do videos, you as a person, right? And then from that YouTube video, we can create email content, you can create short form videos, post, you can even do podcasts, right? Not as important for real estate agents, but if you are a small business owner and you have, you can do podcasts, right? And then lastly, events networking. That's way to generate traffic. What what do I mean by events? Okay, this is something I think um, not as many people do it, which I think is in my opinion, doing like uh, an online event on a monthly basis for your real estate business, right? And I don't see enough people doing that, but I think it's a way for you to generate leads. So even if a couple of people show up, I think there's an untapped market. I mean, untapped potential. So lastly, with paid ads, I'm not a big fan of paid ads, but if you want to scale, I don't recommend this to, anybody that hasn't done, steps one and two, you shouldn't be doing paid ads, right? But if you're doing paid ads, I think you should do local service ads, not Google PPC, but local service LSA, call it LSA, that's attached to your Google business profile. Facebook ads, I think there is a market. I mean, not necessarily a market, but I think, at a certain point to promote your content that you're pushing out here, you should put some money into it so that what is that doing? You're not running Facebook ads to generate leads. You're running your Facebook ads to create your sphere, right? You want to be in front of those people that know you, right? And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about Kevin later on and the plan that we came up with. Um, the reason why you would run your Facebook ads is so that you're in front of people, right? So how do you get in front of people? It's by email. And that's why when I talked about digital foundation, you're setting up your email database. And if you email them on a weekly or at least once a month, you're always in front of them, right? Now that, there's also the problem of, getting into the inbox. That's a whole different topic. All right. Lastly, let me go and pull my lastly, number four is your authority hub. I'm not going to go in depth here because um, just want to point out a couple of things. Let me just pull this so that I can see it on my screen here. All right. So with the authority hub, right, this is what you should not do. This is what I see all the time. And so instead of saying what to do, I'm going to say what not to do. All right. I see this all the time where people agents, brokerages, hire somebody to build out a website and then they cancel it because they think that it's not generating income, or they look at that and saying, okay, I'm not generating income. You have to look at things that you do online as an investment. It's like, why do you, when you have a business, like, you look at it as an investment on things, right? And the same thing should be done with things that you do online. So when I see agents invest money on their website and then they cancel it, or they move to another platform because somebody else has said that this platform is better, now what you've done is you've took whatever you worked on and spent money on and just flush it down the toilet, and now you're spending money somewhere else. That's what you're doing in essence on online, right? I see this all the time. It's a waste of time, waste of your time, your money, as well as your resources, basically, right? And if you're starting out at the very beginning and you don't have a website, don't I wouldn't focus on that. I would just focus on local SEO, Google Business Profile, and content marketing, right? Now, when should you get a website? It depends, right? And why the reason I say that it depends is because if you haven't focused on item number 1 to 3, then there's no reason to get a website unless you have the budget for it, right? You have to understand, when you get a website, it's not just plop, you're putting a website. There are things you must do. You need to update it, right? You're not going to get traffic if you're just getting a website to make it so that way, you could put it on your business card. It's a very expensive business card for you. Okay. So I would say that, if you're committed to building, putting blog posts, updating content, that's when you should commit to it. Okay. All right. So lastly, I'm going to talk about, and for those that are here, I'm going to just see if there's any questions, because I know this is live. I don't want to just, if you have any questions, if you are watching me on YouTube or any other channel, um, I think this chat session only picks up from all of them except for the Facebook group and LinkedIn. So if you're on those platforms, go to my YouTube and put in any comments or anything, and I will answer them. All right. So let's go, and I was gonna talk about the. Here, let me just hide this so that way. All right. So the number one obstacle that you are facing in your business, right? And the same thing I'm sharing because those are the obstacles that I came up with, right? It's you. It's not it was me, right? That is the number one obstacle for you to grow and scale your business online. It is you. And what I mean by do you is that, um you're like, Kevin Majeski shared with me when we were on Zoom, and he said that, he's done everything, right? And in most instances, what happens, right, is that he would start, and then something else comes up, and then he stops, right? So he is a one-man shop, right? Does that sound familiar, right, to you, to me? Right? It was like that for me for the longest time. So I came up with a solution, right, that I think is going to solve that plan, or that issue. Okay. And I shared it with him, and this is something that I'm going to be implementing as I go and move forward with the various businesses and the clients that I work with, right? And I call this the BOS plan, right? So basically, I call it the business owner solution to scale your business and revenue. Let me just make this bigger, right? So in business, right? If you're a solopreneur, there's only 3 ways to do things in your business, right? Whether it's anything that you do, right? You do it, right? If you're solopreneur, you're basically doing everything. You're doing your marketing, sales, operations, transactions, administrative, all right, everything, right? Number 2 is you can delegate some of that task internally to somebody in your team, right? Or somebody that you commission out, right? Or number 3, you delegate it externally to a marketing agency, such as what I do for, some of the agents and brokers, right? So which do you think is the most expensive? Most people would say hiring out to us. I think that's wrong. The most expensive is doing it yourself, right? And that really, but that really depends upon how you consider out what do you consider is your hourly rate, or what do you consider, right? And I do believe that number one, you doing it and now I know it now where I am in my position, that number one, you doing it is the most expensive and the most costly, right? Because you can't take that time away, and it depends on how you consider yourself, how much you charge, right? So the way that I came up with this boss plan, right, is that you start with the boss plan with K Madison, that's with us, right? And um, now you're not going to do everything all at once because that will be too costly, right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to help you get help internally, because that's probably what most companies need to do in order to scale. Is you need to build a team, right? You need to build a team, an online team that's going to help you grow and scale, right? That has to do with things that are internal to your business. So managing your social media posts, or pushing out those content, right? You should not be doing that, right? If you're the boss. I'm assuming that if you're watching this, you are the boss. There might be some marketers out there that are watching this. Take this plan, run with it, make money. Okay. So number three is replace activities that we do and delegate it to your internal, right? The one that we help you to get, right? So basically you now have reduced the amount that you pay, because you're not going to be paying us as a marketing agency. You're going to build it internally, right? Or you're going to pay your staff, right? And then we're going to continue with the next step, right? And so with Kevin Majeski, right? And this is the plan that I came up with for him, right? And whether he accepts it, I don't know, because I sent out the proposal to him last week, and it's up to him to decide whether he wants to pursue working with us or not. And so I asked him, what does he do actively right now in his marketing? And he says his sphere of influence. What's important for him, right? What's important for him may not be important for you, right? So depending on what you're doing, you may be doing a lot of cold calling, um, but he does printed newsletters to his client, and his most important is nurturing his sphere of influence, right? And so I told him, call your sphere of influence, right? And go live on Facebook and Instagram. That will continue his sphere of influence. And if we need to run Facebook ads on some of his content, we can do that, but I don't think it's necessary. And then what we do, which will be replaced internally later on, is we're going to help him execute an email newsletter campaign, which is going to go out hopefully weekly, if not bi-weekly, right? And we're going to execute a regular Google review campaign, which all of this is going to be done internally, and we're going to create a plan for that person that's going to be replacing us, right? And then we're going to execute a weekly article blog post, right? And that's to help him continue his ranking organically, right? So the things that he's got to do, right? That can't be replaced by if he needs to go Facebook Live. I can't do that for him. He's got to do that himself. And then the next phase, when that s- um, when we get replaced by the internal staff, then we help him to grow by creating YouTube video, long form videos. And this is where we're currently still working in this process right now, right? I take the videos that I create right now, these long, um, this video, this is now about 40 minutes long. I take this video, and what my staff does is they create in from this long form video, they will create short form video, and they will create evergreen library content that we could push out on a daily basis to social media, right? Um, and this is what we do, right? And then eventually, um, we're going to phase, whether the client, now this is where it gets a little bit tricky, not necessarily tricky, but the client has to decide, okay, do you want us to continue it, or do you want to hire internally for you to lower your costs, and ultimately have somebody internally do the stuff that we're doing, right? The only difference is that now you have to manage the internal staff, right? Some people don't want to manage the staff, right? Just like me, I don't want to grow a big team, and that's not my goal, right? I when I started my marketing business, I had in my mind, I don't want to grow 100 team company. That is not what I don't want to babysit 100 team members. I That's not what I want. And so with that in mind, I'm creating this system with that in mind, right? So and I'm only like, I don't want to be working with 100 different clients. That's not my goal, right? So anyway, that is the BOS system in a nutshell. So if that's something of interest to you, I'm going to put a link below so that you can schedule reach out to me, DM me as well. I'm available. I do respond to most of the texts. if if you're texting me to for soliciting business, then I may say probably say no, thank you. But I do respond to most of the DMs. But I'll put a link in for a strategy call on a Zoom link, basically to connect with you. All right. Let me see if there's any other questions. Thank you for showing up and watching through the whole video. Um, it is a little nerve-wracking going live, but yeah, I am getting more comfortable doing these. I don't see any chat or questions coming in. If you're watching me on LinkedIn or in the Facebook group, I will go and check those comments. If you have any questions, write those comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Next week, I'm going to go over specifically Google Business Profile and um, how to rank number one. Okay. Um, we're going to go in depth into Google Business Profile next week. On every Thursday, I go live with these episodes, uh, going over basically when clients or potential customers or clients come to me and have problems, I'm gonna relay the solution in these sessions or every Thursday at 11 o'clock. All right. Thanks for showing up, and I'll see you next week. Okay. Bye now.